Autumn has come and gone, and winter is steadily approaching. The air is crisp, the trees are bare, the cool showers have turned into freezing rain, and for those in a colder climate, snow is steadily approaching. Weather is hard to predict, and you never know when unexpected weather can turn disastrous. When preparing for a long winter ahead, pack an emergency winter survival kit that includes essential supplies for a winter emergency that can leave you stranded in your car. Make a checklist to be assured that your emergency kit contains emergency flares and flashlight, water bottles, heat packs or hand warmers, snack food and energy bars, first aid kit, tool kit, blankets or sleeping bag, jumper cables, hats and gloves, and a lighter. Make sure to store your items in the back seat or passenger compartment in case the trunk is jammed or frozen shut. If possible, call 911 to provide your location, the problem you're experiencing, and condition of everyone in the vehicle.
Each year in the United States, approximately 20,000 people go to the emergency room for carbon monoxide poisoning.
Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas. It's extremely poisonous and it can kill you in minutes if you're exposed to it.
Nearly 500 people die from carbon monoxide poisoning.
Hurricanes or severe storms can trigger power outages that last for days. Some people fire up a generator for power or a gas stove to heat their home, but fail to realize the danger.
It's one thing to be cold, it's another thing to be seriously ill and need critical care.
Never use your oven to heat your home. It could be a source of carbon monoxide for you. It's dangerous. Don't do it.
Make sure that their appliances and heating devices are properly vented and maintained by a professional.
Dangers from poorly maintained heating systems are really going to be the number one cause of carbon monoxide poisonings in the United States.
CDC suggests that generators be placed outdoors.
We recommend at least 25 feet away from your house. The best is as far away from your home as possible. So if your power cord is 50 feet, I would put my generator 50 feet away from my house if I was using it.
There are actions to protect your family.
CDC recommends that all homes have carbon monoxide detectors. I think it's a great investment. It's particularly important that you have carbon monoxide detectors near where people sleep at night. The worst location for a carbon monoxide detector is in the box without a battery.
Most importantly, when you go to purchase a CO detector, make sure that it is specifically for carbon monoxide.
The other important thing is that it's battery operated. If it is an AC operated detector, it's important that it also have a battery backup.
Running your car in the garage, even with the garage door open, is not safe.
If you have to get your car warmed up in the wintertime, make sure it's parked in the driveway well away from the house.
Carbon monoxide makes people sick, it kills people, and it's completely preventable.
If you snooze, you lose. Most of us are familiar with the effects of driving while drunk. But a lot of people don't realize that the dangers of driving drowsy can be just as bad. Studies have shown that 41% of drivers admitted to falling asleep while driving, and 20% of all accidents are due to drowsy driving. If you've been awake for 20 hours, that's the equivalent of driving with a blood alcohol content of 0.08%.
Between the hamster wheel grind at work, the commute to and from, fatigue on the open road can seem like an accepted fact of modern life. In fact, an estimated 250,000 Americans drive drowsy every day. But of course, nodding off behind the wheel can quickly turn into a very real nightmare. So the next time you find yourself with miles to go before you sleep, something to think about. From ABC's Ron Claiborne.
The video is shocking. A woman driving a car in Denver asleep at the wheel. Watch as she drifts in and out of her lane, narrowly missing other vehicles. Somehow, she never crashes.
Oh, jeez.
She drove 30 miles before a police car was finally able to pull her over. About 6,800 drivers each year aren't so lucky. They fall asleep while driving, crash, and die. Drowsy driving is the second leading cause of fatal vehicle accidents, behind only drunk driving and ahead of driving while texting. And it's not just driving that's affected. A recent study in the Journal of the American Medical Association estimated that workplace accidents from sleep deprivation cause $31 billion of damage every year.
Sleep is such a powerful drive that if you really need it, the brain is going to say, aha, sleep. And that can be an incredibly dangerous situation.
But it's driving while sleepy that is especially harrowing. Some drowsy drivers experience a phenomenon that you've probably never heard of called microsleep, where you fall asleep for just a few seconds without realizing it. I volunteered to be the guinea pig in an experiment to see how I would be affected driving without enough sleep.
Now we're going to be up all night.
First, I stayed up for 32 consecutive hours.
I've hit the proverbial wall. I've almost been up 24 hours.
Hi, I'm Ron Claiborne. Then I traveled to the Liberty Mutual Research Institute outside of Boston, where they study the effects of sleep deprivation on driving.
It can happen in the blink of an eye.
Chronic lack of sleep fogs the mind, makes people more likely to make mistakes at school or work. It makes us emotionally volatile and more prone to illness. At the research lab, I was hooked up to a brain wave monitor and a device that tracks eye movement. I feel okay now, but not great. Then I got behind the wheel of a minivan. As tired as I was, I thought I would be okay.
We'll see. I feel like I can drive pretty well.
Then I started driving on a closed track with a researcher sitting next to me who could step on an emergency brake if things went awry.
I'm feeling pretty worn out.
Soon I was becoming sleepier and sleepier. It became a struggle to keep my eyes open and just to hold my head up. Before long, I was experiencing microsleep. I looked like a normal awake driver, but what you can't tell is that my brain is actually asleep. About half an hour in, it became more obvious. I had fallen asleep at the wheel and driven completely off the road.
That was not good.
I soon realized I just couldn't go on.
Doc, yeah, I'm done.
Okay, let's throw it into park then.
Good idea.
Yeah.
It was just too dangerous.
That was tough.
Back in the lab, Dr. Seisler showed me just what was going on inside my brain while I was driving.
Yes, this is evidence that you're falling asleep.
My eyes were open, but see how these lines are becoming more jagged? That's sleep coming on. And these lines show my blinking is getting slower. And what about when I drove off the road?
We could see it coming in your brainwave.
Looking at the chart here, how long was my microsleep in this one episode?
So in this one episode, we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 seconds.
What was most shocking, Dr. Seisler said, I fell asleep. I microslept 21 other times.
You had dozens of times where your eyes began rolling around in their sockets. This would happen for 2, 3, 4 seconds. You'd get a couple of good rolls in.
If I'd been driving 60 miles an hour, I would have gone the length of a football field asleep.
And then you'd come to, and then you'd keep driving.
I'd remembered none of them. Fortunately, I had been in a highly controlled situation with safety precautions, driving just 20 to 30 miles an hour. Every day, thousands of sleep-deprived Americans go whizzing along at 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, convinced, as I was, that they can outrace their own fatigue.
I was in a real twilight zone the entire time.
Somebody stop her! Oh! Dude, you okay? Storms be like.